Welcome back to Old School Sports and our playthrough of the Miami Marlins in OOTP 22. And if you remember our last episode, we were really excited about the 2024 season, and we are at the midway point, and it's been a bleeping disaster. We're 33-47, 17 games out. Recall that one of our goals was to have a winning record, and we thought that a winning record was likely in the books, and we were hoping to make a playoff push. So it's just been a mess. Everything we've tried to do in the past off season has gone wrong for us. First and foremost, we didn't learn our lessons from our ill-fated signing of injury-prone Jameson Talon a year ago. We tried to go with a bargain starter again with the formerly great Justin Verlander, who's now 41 years old, and his season has been a total disaster. He's fallen out of our rotation after just 3 starts. He's pitched his way to a 6.39 ERA, a 63 ERA plus, a 159 FIP minus. Certainly not getting our money's worth with him for the $7 million we signed him for, and his WAR of minus 1.2 is not surprisingly the worst of anyone on our pitching staff. So the only positive thing I can say about that signing is that it was only for 1 year, and also that it has helped us add some interest in the team. So, should help us, with the fan interest. But it's been a total disaster, I can't lie. And our other pitcher that we traded for is doing better. Not great, but at least it hasn't been a disaster like Verlander. That was Jordan Romano, who we traded for with the Blue Jays. You can see has certainly not produced the way he produced in Toronto for us, but has at least been respectable as a middle reliever for us. On the offensive side, our 2 big trades, you'll remember, were J.D. Davis and Jose Altuve. Haven't been as bad as the acquisition of Verlander, but J.D. Davis is having a undoubtedly mediocre season for us. 232 batting average, 667 OPS, 88 OPS plus. We were willing to deal with his less than ideal defense at third base under the expectation that his bat would help us, and clearly that has not been the case so far. Altuve has been a bit better. We just have him in the final year of his large contract that Houston traded to us because they're rebuilding, so they're paying a big chunk of that. But honestly, we should be rebuilding too, and we're just too dumb to realize it. So you can see that Altuve has, put up an OPS plus of 101, consistent with last year. We were hoping for a little better from him, but at least he's been a slightly positive contributor to us with a 0.7 WAR. So as I mentioned, the end result of that is a losing record at this point of the season. We're still not in last place because the Nationals are a bigger disaster than we are. But as I mentioned, 33-47, 80 games through the season and 17 games out. Right now, we kind of need to figure out what our strategy is for this team. We had been steadily improving. You can see that I've still got a good reputation at this point, but our goals for this year were to achieve a winning record, which is pretty unlikely. But if we add talent as we get closer to the trading deadline, perhaps we can get close to 500 and maybe keep our job. We need to sign Chad Greene to an extension after this season, and then we also need to increase attendance. And as I had mentioned in our last episode, we only got a 1-year extension, so it is conceivable that we will lose our job after this season and be able to move on from this nightmare that has become trying to put a winning team together with the Miami Marlins. If I were to move on, because of that good reputation, I actually have options. I could go to a nice big market team like the San Francisco Giants if I wanted to. We'll see after this season is over whether I have any options at all, but it's been a frustrating start to the year. I've just taken my ticket prices down further to hopefully allow me to meet the goal of ownership in terms of attendance, getting back to 35,200 a game. I'm at 34,700 now, so the hope is that maybe lowering our ticket prices and maybe adding some talent can, save the job. But what's the point of saving the job at this point? This playthrough has been disappointing. I made steady progress, but unhappy with some of the long-term decisions I made. Wish I had locked up some guys earlier in their arbitration years, and definitely have made some missteps along the way. So we'll have to put a strategy together for how we want the second half of this season to look. Should we tear things down and try to bring in some new talent to improve our 20th ranked farm system? There are guys at the end of their salary, or the end of their contracts. We're not going to get anything for Verlander, obviously. Could probably get a little bit for Altuve, especially because the Astros are still paying the bulk of his contract. Chad Greene's probably worth something, but we would be trading him away, even though our owner wants us to sign him, so that might not help us keep our job. And then some of the younger, talented players on our team we could certainly trade, but don't know that I really want to do that. But, we're in a position now where players like Jazz Chisholm are going to start getting pretty significant bumps in terms of their arbitration years, even Jordan Romano next year. So the issue is that although we've got about $4 million for free agents now, we don't have anything available for extensions until we get through arbitration. So if we do take on somebody and attempt to get close to 500, it's going to have to be somebody on an expiring contract. So we will give it some thought and think about whether we want to kind of try to make a run for it or just bail. And we will be back with a report on it shortly. Thanks for watching. Thought this was kind of funny. Within a day or two in game time of my most recent rant, Justin Verlander let me know with a kind statement that he's going to be retiring. Yeah, big shocker, Justin. I've added him to the trade block. Not that I can imagine anyone's going to be interested in him. And then I also added Jose Altuve to the trade block, and just in an effort to go out in a blaze of glory and potentially upset our ownership, I also added Chad Greene to the trade block. He's looking for $11.5 million a year for the next 4 seasons to sign with us. He'll be 34 years old next season. Still effective, although he's not having as strong a season this year as he did last season. But clearly a small market team like us can't afford to be paying him, anywhere near $11.5 million a year. So we'll see if we can get anything for Altuve, Verlander, and Greene to kind of rebuild the farm system. And the way those 3 are performing, probably not going to have a huge impact on our one-loss record. You can see that although we're 18 games behind now, our winning percentage is a little better. So I guess we're going to try to see if we can get close to 500, save our job, maybe get an extension, and then do a little better with a strategic plan of actually building something sustainable rather than trying to chase each year in free agency and trading in the offseason. But we will see how the rest of the season goes. Well, the season's over. We actually played a little better in the second half of the season, but it was still ugly. It's 72-90 for the year, 29 games out, 4th place. We decided to tear things down to the best of our abilities. Not that we had a lot to really trade, but we did make 4 trades before the trade deadline to attempt to rebuild our minor league system a little bit, but obviously didn't get much for the junk that we were trading. We traded away lefty Brent Suter for Nico Goodrum. Obviously not a long-term prospect for us there. We got rid of Justin Verlander, and who was going to retire, as I mentioned, and who was horrible for us, although he actually pitched decently for Pittsburgh, and a minor league pitcher for JT Brubacher, who is a solid major league pitcher who actually pitched reasonably well for us, which was good. We traded away Altuve to the Red Sox for a, decent AAA pitching prospect. He's 26 years old. He did pitch really well for us at Jacksonville, but certainly just a roster filler. But, a roster filler under arbitration control for a number of years is not a worthless asset for a team like ours. And then we traded away Chad Greene, who wanted a big contract from us, to the Red Sox also, for a couple of minor league starters, closer Yordi Guaba, who pitched really well for us at Jacksonville and Pensacola before that. So he looks like he could be a member of our bullpen in the future. And then also another reliever in Aaron Perry. So I guess the good news is that we got a little bit of talent for our cast-offs and players that we weren't going to sign and or were going to be free agents, that we weren't going to sign at the end of the season. So hopefully some value in that. Our minor league system still very mediocre. As I mentioned, finished in 4th place. Owner is not going to be happy with us. Our goals were to achieve a winning record, which we did not. Signed Chad Greene, and we traded him away and increase attendance by close to 4,000 a game. That was the goal we came closest to. We increased attendance by about 3,000. But we will see what Mr. Sherman thinks about our performance when we get through the postseason. Kind of before then, looking at the highlights and the lowlights for the team. Sadly, we've normally ranked 15th in many offensive categories over the first 3 years that we had the team. So very tiny progress offensively, but our pitching, which has historically been a strength, is also a weakness now. So just a bad season. I'm not happy with my performance in this playthrough. Don't know if I'm playing for the camera with what I'm trying to do or not, but it's been relatively unsuccessful thus far. We'll see if we can keep our job, and we'll be back when we have that answer. Well, it appears that our long national nightmare will continue. We received another 1-year extension for $750,000, but our owner is not pleased with us. I'll show you what Bruce Sherman had to say about our performance. He's not happy with our performance. The fans aren't happy with our performance. He's not happy we decided against signing Chad Greene. Failed at our goal to increase attendance. He's given us a goal of building a contender, and overall he's angry with us. His overall performance, his overall evaluation, though, is just unhappy. He's angry with me as far as the goals, unhappy with my overall performance, expects more from me. Next season is very important. If we don't see progress, changes will be made. So pretty clear that we are on watch for next season. Goals are to play 500 ball. Yeah, that would be nice. Improve our on-base percentage. Yep, that would be nice. And acquire a Gold Glove winner. Sure, that would be nice too. So we've got a lot of work to do. The issue is that I'm not playing very well, and we have no money for free agents and extensions right now. So we are going to need to really kind of figure out how we're going to revamp this organization and make some major trades in the offseason. As we've talked about, I'm playing on the most difficult trade setting possible to try to make this as big a challenge. Not that with my mediocre play I really need to be making it a great challenge. The only positive thing coming out of this season is that our budget was actually increased by about $2 million. As we've continued to generate pretty good results, record attendance, or at least the best attendance we've seen in a decade. That being said, we're going to have to make some changes given the salary obligations we have with Conforto, Rogers, J.D. Davis is the three big guys under contract right now, and then Jesus Sanchez, J.D. Brubacher, Jordan Romano, and Jazz Chisholm, all looking for big contracts, or I guess more accurately, increases through arbitration. We're going to have to really kind of make some changes this offseason to position the team better for long-term growth, and it may cost us our job, but those are the breaks when you are pretending that you are in the big leagues. Looking back at the season, a couple highlights to share on the batting side. Conforto, a nice season for us in his second year with us, much improved from where he was the year before. And then Jazz Chisholm obviously took a step in the right direction offensively, which is going to manifest itself in him wanting a lot more money from us. We do have a pretty good prospect at AAA at second base right now, so it's possible that we're going to trade Jazz Chisholm with these arbitration years getting more expensive, see what we can potentially get for him. And then Jesus Sanchez had a nice season for us at right field, also played some center field for us. We tried to get him to transition to a center fielder, but it didn't quite work. But we're going to have to do something about center field if we can, because as you can see, Monty Harrison, who's been playing there most of the time for us for the past several seasons, just does not do much of anything offensively, despite being a pretty solid defensive player. J.D. Davis, a relatively mediocre season for us, 237 batting average, 350 slugging percentage. Clearly not what we were hoping for. He may have a little bit of value. Maybe we can trade him for something. As I mentioned, we're going to be making a lot of changes this coming off season. Pitching, once again, kind of arranging it by WAR. Sandy Alcantara, who is a free agent, probably somebody that we should have traded away. He's looking for over $11 million a year, so maybe we can trade him for something before he becomes a free agent, although that's probably a bit doubtful at this point. JT Brubacher, who we did trade Verlander for, as I mentioned, pitched reasonably well for us. A respectable major league arm. We'll see what he's looking for in arbitration. And then our ace, Trevor Rogers, was not as good as he has been in previous seasons, but still a durable workhorse, a positive contributor with his ERA plus, FIP minus, not where he has been, WAR, not where he has been the last couple seasons, but still the cornerstone of our team, although his contract is going to increase to $10 million a year next season. Jordan Romano, not really that great a season for us, and he's going to be looking for a raise in arbitration, so he may go. So we've got a lot of decisions to make, just in terms of the normal arbitration type decisions. Tucker Barnhart, not happy with his role. Freddie Galvis, Austin Hedges, and Chasen Shreve, all veteran players who we need to make option year decisions. So it will be a very busy offseason for us. The goal, obviously, is to get to 500 and to keep our job. But I think realistically, we're going to also be trying to build something that's ultimately more sustainable. Hopefully we can get rid of some older players with less attractive contracts and add a little minor league talent and still do it in a way that allows us to be pretty close to 500 next year. So looking forward to another busy off season. Thank you so much for watching. Would love your comments, likes, and subscriptions. And we will be back next time with the 2024 to 2025 off season here at Old School Sports. Take care.